April Sue Lynn Jones, the 4th of April 2007, c. The 1st of October 2012 was a child murder victim in Wales, UK. April, from Machynlleth, Powys, Wales, who was aged 5, disappeared on the 1st of October 2012, after being sighted willingly getting into a vehicle near her home. Her disappearance generated a large amount of national and international press coverage. A 46-year-old local man, Mark Bridger, was subsequently arrested. On the 30th of May 2013, Bridger was found guilty of April's abduction and murder, in addition to perverting the course of justice. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, with the trial judge ordering that he never be released from prison. Search. On the 3rd of October 2012, April Jones's mother made an appeal for information about her daughter. The following day, the Prime Minister, David Cameron, also issued an appeal to the public, commenting, "Clearly having this happen to you, and the fact that she suffers from cerebral palsy, something I know a little about from my own children, only makes this worse. My appeal would be to everyone. If you know anything, if you saw anything, heard anything, have any ideas you can bring forward, talk to the police." In the days following her disappearance, a large search operation for the girl was mounted around the Machynlleth area, involving police and search and rescue teams using specialized equipment, as well as hundreds of volunteers. On the 12th of December, police stated that the search for Jones would continue into 2013. On the 27th of March 2013, police revealed that they would call off the search at the end of April after being unable to locate the body, and on the 22nd of April, police confirmed that the search had officially ended. The police stated that a reactive team of specialist officers are available to respond to any new information that is received. This was the largest missing person search in UK police history. Murder inquiry. Mark Bridger, a 46-year-old local man, was arrested on the afternoon of the 2nd of October 2012, less than 24 hours after April went missing. He became a suspect in the case because he matched a description of the man and the vehicle, a left-hand drive Land Rover Discovery, which an eyewitness had seen April entering following a conversation with the man. On the 5th of October 2012, police officially designated the case a murder inquiry. Even though a body had not been found, this was the first indication that the police now had reason to believe that April Jones was dead. Sky News presenter Kay Burley was accused of insensitivity after breaking the news of Jones' probable death live on air to volunteers who had been searching for her. The interviewees were unaware the case had changed from a search for a missing person into a murder inquiry. On the 6th of October, Bridger was charged with child abduction, murder, and attempting to pervert the course of justice. He appeared before magistrates at Aberystwyth on the 8th of October, where he was additionally charged with the unlawful concealment and disposal of a body. He was remanded into custody and held at HMP Manchester pending an appearance at Caernarfon Crown Court, which occurred on the 10th of October via video link. On the 14th of January 2013, at Mold Crown Court, Bridger pleaded not guilty to the charge of murdering April Jones, but accepted that he was probably responsible for her death. The trial was to begin on the 25th of February at Mold Crown Court, but it was adjourned until the 29th of April at the request of Bridger's defense team in order to make further inquiries. Mark Bridger. Mark Leonard Bridger was born at the War Memorial Hospital in Carshalton, London, on the 6th of November 1965, the second of 3 children born to policeman Graham Bridger and his wife Pamela. He has an older sister and younger brother. He grew up in a semi-detached house in Wallington, London. He attended John Ruskin High School in Croydon, leaving with 7 CSEs. Bridger had a string of convictions for minor offenses stretching back to the mid-1980s. When he was 19, he was convicted of firearms offenses and theft. He moved to Wales in the 1980s, and there he was convicted of criminal damage, a foray, and driving without insurance in 1991. The next year, he was convicted again, for driving whilst disqualified and without insurance. In 2004, he was convicted of battery and threatening behavior. In 2007, he received his fifth conviction, this time for assault. Bridger's work history is varied. He has been an abattoir worker, hotel porter, firefighter, lifeguard, mechanic, and welder. He fathered 6 children by 4 women, and was married once, to the mother of 2 of his children, from 1990 until the marriage ended in divorce several years later. Trial. The trial of Mark Bridger began on the 29th of April 2013 before Judge Mr. Justice Griffith Williams. A forensic expert told the court that fragments of human bone consistent with a younger individual had been found in the fireplace of Bridger's cottage. Blood found in several parts of the cottage was matched to April's DNA, and was enough to convince the police that April Jones had suffered injuries from which she could not have survived, and convinced the Crown Prosecution Service to charge Bridger with murder. In his defense, Bridger claimed that he had accidentally run over April in his car and could not remember disposing of her body due to alcohol and panic. On the 29th of May, the judge concluded his summing up, and then ordered the jury to retire to consider its verdicts. On the 30th of May 2013, Bridger was found guilty of abduction, murder, and perverting the course of justice. Later that day, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a recommendation that he should never be released, having been called a pathological liar and a pedophile by the judge. After the verdict, it was revealed that Bridger had confessed to the Strangeways prison chaplain that he had disposed of April's body in the fast-flowing Afon Doulas, which flows past Bridger's house before terminating in the River Diffy near Machynlleth. Dyfed police have said they doubt Bridger's claims and believe he scattered April's remains across the countryside near his house. In July 2013, several weeks into his sentence, Bridger was attacked by a fellow prisoner with an improvised shank, resulting in facial and throat injuries, for which he received stitches. In December 2013, Bridger launched an appeal against his whole life sentence, but dropped the appeal a month later, just days before it was due to be heard. Facebook offenses. On the 8th of October 2012, a 19-year-old man from Chorley in Lancashire pleaded guilty to sending a grossly offensive message and for posting comments about Jones and Madeleine McCann on his Facebook page, an offense under Section 127(1) of the Communications Act 2003. He was sentenced to 12 weeks imprisonment in a young offender institution. In a separate case, an 18-year-old male from Worcester, who posted his opinions about the case on his Facebook page, was given a 6-week suspended prison sentence on the 7th of November, and ordered to do 200 hours of community service. Aftermath. Funeral. Although her body was never found, 17 fragments of bone were recovered from the fireplace in Bridger's cottage. The funeral service for April Jones was held in Machynlleth on the 26th of September 2013. Changes to web search engines. After Bridger's arrest, police discovered an extensive collection of child abuse material on his computer. In November 2013, following campaigning by Jones's parents, which was also backed by several national newspapers, the search engines Google and Bing modified their systems to block results from searches aimed at producing child abuse images. House in Seine. On the 4th of August 2014, it was announced that the cottage in Cheynes, Powys, where April is believed to have been killed, had been purchased by the Welsh government for £149,000, having stood empty since Bridger's arrest nearly 2 years earlier. The cottage was demolished in November 2014. April's family watched the house being demolished. See also List of murder convictions without a body. References